high-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Okay, hello traders. Welcome to our live trading workshop webinar today. We're going to be covering a lot of topics. Actually, in fact, we've got a lot of action going on in terms of actually gold as well at the moment, which is towards the short side that we are seeing. And Gavin is probably on the trade already. He'll explain that in a minute. So the quick format on this session is what we do, where Master the Markets and Trade Guide present together on price and volume, SMI, and VSA together. We look at live trading potential trades. Then after that, then we also then look at basically a small topic for the session. And then this topic for now is going to be on basically on Tom Williams, how to identify market tops and bottoms using Tom Williams volume spread analysis methodology, and then combine that with the price action SMI that we have over here at Master the Markets. Finally, then we end off with some updates on some events coming up and also a Q&A session as well. So this and more in this session. Traders, for those of you joining us new for the first time today, my name is Thiru Narpan, founder of Master the Markets, Illustrates Conference, and the Traders Open Day, and I'm joined in by my good friend and director and CEO of Trade Guide, Gavin Holmes. Hi, Gavin.
Thiru and everyone, welcome. Namaste to you all. Hope you're all well. Yes, I am short on the gold here. I'll explain why. Now, one of the questions Thiru asked me earlier is do you put a profit target in once you've taken a trade? Well, I'll show you. The answer is no, I don't. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't project a profit target, but the late Tom Williams, who I honour today, it's been quite a few years since he passed while I was with him, and you know, I've been very blessed and fortunate to meet Thiru and the team in well, his whole team in fact, all over the world, and they produce something called the Smart Money Indicator, which complements the volume spread analysis system that I'm going to show you today. And I'm going to show you there are ways of marking market tops and market bottoms, but this is the bit that Thiru and I talked about earlier today, is why is it so confusing for people? If a market's going up and the volume's increasing, they think it's buying, but it simply isn't most of the time. And I'm saying not ever, but 99% it's selling. And if it's falling, it's collapsing, and everyone's telling you there's big problems in the Middle East and Israel's attacking Iran and the market collapses. Why does it suddenly rally like this? Well, we'll show you today, and we'll explain to you what we're going to be doing in the next few months to help you. Now, before we start, I want to give you something from my fourth book, which is called Think, Link, Create. And it says in that book, which I now know is to be so true, and I'm glad I wrote it, your mind is like a parachute. It's best used when it's open. And so when we're going to look at these charts and we're going to look at these screens today, I just want you to relax, look at the screen, forget the news. I know that sounds odd. You know, let's look at what the charts are telling us. And there's a lot of information that's in here that will help us, especially this week and then next week, to be profitable. And if we can do that, and Tiu and I will talk about this today, we'll talk about risk management. We'll talk about there's no guarantees in the market. Okay, if you listen to someone on YouTube or Reddit or whatever it is, I don't care. It's like, and they say Instagram, that's another one. You're guaranteed if you buy Bitcoin to make loads of money in it. That's rubbish. What we'll teach you today is to look at some statistics, to look at the charts and ignore the news, because your worst enemy is actually, I hate to say this, the news. Because when you hear it, you become emotionally influenced about your trading decision. And then you don't look at the evidence, you just look at what they're saying on CNN. But then Donald Trump comes out yesterday and says, CNN are lying. Hold on. We just did a big bombing campaign in the Middle East, the best ever. And then CNN said it's a complete lie. So you've got to be realistic about this. What we do, and Tiru and I are both on the same place on this, is focus on what we can control. Okay, what we can control. We're not trying to ring Donald Trump up and say, "Can you reverse your policy on this?" No. Well, actually, Tiru probably has, but I haven't. But but the bottom line is, we control what we see. What we see is data. And there's a lot of questions I've got about artificial intelligence, AI, and I'm going to answer those because I've had some very good meetings and I've got a lot of knowledge now about that particular strategy and what's going on in the future. So, Tiru, let's go to gold, because that's where I think we could see a very decent move. So
Yeah,
I'm going to hand back over to you.
Look at that one there. Let me do the first analysis, because you're already on this short.
Yeah.
I must say, when we were looking at this before, traders, so you know, we look at the trend alignment tables, right? So we did take a look on when we aligned everything together, because with the SMI, you can see that on the daily chart, it's saying it's an uptrend, but it's a phase 2. So the direction is towards the downside over here. Then in terms of the 4 hour, it's saying it's a downtrend phase 2. But the thing that you got to understand, why we can see this very clearly in terms of downtrend phase 2, phase 1, whatever it is because we have our tops and bottoms all quantified over here, right? This was the work that started in the 1960s and 70s period by my mentor's mentor, who actually references Richard Wyckoff quite a lot in the book, where he mapped out from the whole methodology of accumulation and distribution and the up and the correction of the market by then looking at the tops and bottoms and first quantifying it, because he wanted a systematic way of looking at the markets, taking out the subjectivity, just to create a framework, okay? Just to create a framework. From the framework, then you then get about 3 to 4 data points, which I'll talk a little bit later, which you can also then take a look at, which is explained very clearly in our 7 steps to CTP video series, okay? Which I'll give a link on. I think the team can also send that over. That's the 7 steps to CTP. This is all explained here very, very clearly, okay? Now, coming back into here, so this is how we are able to get this, okay? So you can see that when I draw this line diagram here, you can see that that is a downtrend phase 2. Phase 2 means it's going against the trend. That is a bottom to top. But after a phase 2 finishes, then it reverts back to phase 1, okay? So the real question here is, on the 4 hour time frame, is this top over here, according to this framework, going to become a confirmed top according to our framework? Is the question what we are really asking over here, okay, traders? Right. So that is that one there over here. So then on the 1 hour, then you can see that that is a downtrend phase one. It's pretty much very clear. And then on the 15-minute, that's what's that showing. That's also clear downtrend phase one. So if I go back to here, on the 1 hour, so let me just quickly just go back to that. So it's all pointing, now it's all pointing towards the downside, right? So it's now downtrend phase one. Yes. So now it's pretty much clear. Before we started the session, it was not very totally aligning. And the 1 hour stretch was also towards the upside. So I was looking for a long opportunity, thinking that this would be a shakeout bar, right? This one over here, when I was looking at it. But of course it didn't, and that's why we didn't enter the particular trade. And this is confirmed that this is towards the selling side at the moment. But the tables can help you towards it.
Just very quickly, because I'm still short. Take a look at the 1 minute chart. If you can put a smaller time frame up.
I think it'd be better to show it on your screen, I think. Do you want to?
I don't want to interrupt you. Sorry. I just want you to see this because this is totally obvious. And
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, I will. So I'm going to share my screen and.
Can you see? It's on my screen now. 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah, you've got the 1 minute up there. Yeah, and I can put the same.
That's fine. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll put the GC up, and I'm going to just change that and put it up to the 1 minute. Okay, and I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, tell me when you can see the screen. It should be any minute. Can you see the screen?
Let me just see. I think it should be fine. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, nice. Can everyone else see it? If you can put it in the chat box, that'd be great.
Yeah, you probably need to unshare your screen actually, because that's where
No, I think yours is being shown. I think if the people can participants, if you can confirm.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
As we are asking that, I think it'd be good to do a bit of a shout out as well. Anton, nice to see you once again after Trader Space Camp. We've been looking to actually get hold of you just to have a catch up. It's been a long time. It'd be good to do a catch up soon. Joseph, John, Harrison, David, Claude, very nice to see you.
We got a big audience here.
Yeah, very big. Yes. Just did a small shout out. Yeah, go for it, Gavin.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna.
Anton, it says Gavin's screen is frozen, but I think you can move it.
It could be. Let me try and share it now. Okay. Yeah, it is for some reason. But can you put your chart up for me, Tiru? Try that. My screen's frozen. There's no two ways about it. I can't put my live chart up. So if you can, I'm going to stop sharing.
Right.
And then if you can put your screen on and put gold on.
Yeah.
And put up a small time frame.
Yeah, I got a 1 minute here.
Oh yeah. So you should be able to see a no demand bar.
Yeah. Do you want the futures or do you want a spot?
You can do futures. Spot is fine. They both do the same. I would put up the GC, which is the futures chart, because that's what I'm trading. Yeah, that's fine. And I will fix the screen. I'm not sure what's going on with it.
It's on delayed, isn't it? This one is a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's well, it doesn't matter. It's the same charts. Okay. All right. So we were talking about earlier on Tom Williams, the late Tom Williams, and this is what the webinar is due to honour him. So I want to look at what's going on right now. Now, the time is 2:15 in the UK.
I
I
think this is a good one actually, setting up because our topic is how to identify tops and bottoms using
you've got one here.
yeah, exactly. I think that'd be great for you to talk on. Yes.
So we've got what we call PB, which is professional buying followed by test. So do we expect to bounce here? Pretty much so. And there are some things in this chart that Tom taught me, which I'm going to teach you, and which obviously Terry was also taught me as well in his SMI methodology, which actually shows why the market is going to bounce up. Now, we can't do this in PowerPoints. We can, and it all looks, oh, what wonderful. What I can tell you, if Tom was sitting next to me right now, which hopefully he probably is, but he would say, Gav, the market's in a downtrend. Okay. Now, Turu and I pay a lot of attention to trends. We have to, because if it's in a downtrend, it could continue down. But you have got a lot of volume that's come in. Now, we can't plan this. We're doing this live. So what do we need to look for right now? Right edge of the chart. We need to look for a secondary test. And this is what Tom taught me, was if the market goes down on very high volume in a downtrend, it tests it, it tries to bounce. We've got an SMI indicator saying it's trying to retrace, but it's not there yet. So if you went in now long, okay, you bought the market, you'd be making a mistake. I think this is going to fall further.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see a big markdown.
I think this is the main area we're looking
You've
for.
got it dead
Okay.
on. And didn't
And
we play a
this
red
selling here
dead
is
on
what you're
trading,
looking
spot on trading?
exactly right. And this selling here is what you're saying. You're looking to test this area, but it doesn't look like it's going to test.
No, it's going to come down. It's going to come down. And do you want and do people want to target? This is what you asked me earlier. Okay. When you've got a green indicator in a downtrend, it doesn't mean in VSA you're going to just rush in and buy, because the trend is down. Look at the trending system. The red bars are clearly bars that have closed lower than the previous bar. You've got multiple testing of the market and it's failed. This is, I can't say it. Laura said to me, my wife, she said, you can't say it's going down the toilet, but it is. It's going to fall. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what I say, because at the end of the day, you've got to watch it. Because some people see a green indicator and say, I found the bottom. Now, this is the greatest lesson that Tom taught me. He said, if the market breaks its previous area of support on high volume, massive volume, and then fails to respond, it's gone.
You know what, Gavin? This one is on the gold futures. I got the delayed data.
Yeah.
I rather put the spot one. I think it's.
You can put spot on. It wouldn't make a lot of difference. I mean, if it's delayed, it wouldn't make a lot of difference.
Yeah. So there you go.
But,
yeah. So this is where we are at the moment. Yeah.
okay. So you're on a 1 minute, yeah?
Yeah. I think this is what we were seeing just now. Remember? And then now,
yeah,
it's
trying to recover from that area, but I think you've got to watch the right edge of the chart. And the reason I say that is well, to me, it's in a congested place. And I think there's about to be some news coming out. So I'm just telling you what I know.
I think one thing we can definitely see is there has been a trend change here, Gavin. I think it's pushed it from the last high that the framework has shown. But I think I'll get more confidence when it comes down and tests this area and doesn't take out this low. Would you say that?
I agree with you 100%. I think you're exactly right. The bottom line is it's at this conjecture, because I think as the US market starts to open and there's going to be a news story any minute, just so you all know. Okay, and it's going to come out, and I'm on Bloomberg, so I think I'll get it before you will get it. Okay, so I'm looking at it now, and let me just explain what I mean by this. So news drives markets, right? Now, at the moment, we're in a bouncing. I think you call it the dance of the market or something.
That's
Tiri?
right, yes, which refers to the volatility, yeah.
You're right there right now. You couldn't pick a better day to do a webinar because you're in the dance. It's falling and then it's bouncing. It's falling. There's something about to happen. Give me 9 minutes. Give me 9 minutes and I'll show you. Now, I can't tell you how I know this, but you're about to see quite a big collapse, potentially. Again, I don't know because you say, I know. All I do is I follow various instruments which are based on VSA, volume spread analysis. And this event today is all about picking turning points in the market, right? That's what we're doing. If this does what I think it's going to do, and I don't know, do I? Because if I knew, then you say, oh, you know everything. No, and Turu and I talked about this earlier. This is about risk management, understanding that the market. I mean, do I think that's going to fall? Of course I do. I've got all the evidence as an ex-policeman. But Turu, we talked about this earlier, and it's such an important lesson. We say we're professional traders, which we are. We do make money in the markets. I'm a fund manager. Many of you know that. If I come out in public and say, I know that's going to happen, and then it doesn't, you look foolish. You go, oh, I see, he's rubbish, doesn't know what he's talking about. And so I'll give it back to Tiro on this one. I mean, we've got some, oh, yeah, you've just put the SMI indicators on there, right? And there's a test. Now, that's exactly what I'd want to see in this area. We're right in the zone, as I call it. And there's a really good book called Trading in the Zone. Okay, some of you will know that book. And we're really close at the moment. And this is the best learning lesson. Is Tiru, when we talk about trading, are we always 100% right?
Of course not. I mean, there's no 100% reliable strategy, isn't it? I mean, that definitely there isn't. So you should always be thinking in terms of probabilities. I think just a very quick point. I know some people are having a lot of questions over here. We'll answer them shortly. I know Wishkovsky Ruffle, you did raise your hand. If you can type in your question into the chat box, that would be great. We'll answer them all much later. Sorry, Gavin. Yeah, carry on. As I said, I mean, it's all based on probabilities, to be honest. I think that's the most important thing that people have got to realize, and there's no 100% guarantee or 100% reliable strategy.
So you're right, and we talked about this earlier. So let's analyze each bar, because the way you make money in these markets is your strategies. And Turu and I have spent a lot of time together working on the various strategies. Now you can have, and this is the bit that I talked to Turu about. You can go and buy an iPhone. You could buy an iPhone 14, an iPhone 16, an iPhone, well, which I've just bought for my kids, the top range. But they do what they say on the tin, right? They say, when I talk to traders and I try to help them, the first thing I have to do is find out what and who they are. Meaning, oh, I'm an investor. I invest in Bitcoin. I invest in gold. I invest in, okay. Right. And then you say, what time frames do you use? And they sometimes don't know. They say, well, my broker rings me up, tells me do daily and weekly. And I said, well, okay. But gold moves very quickly, as we're about to see. I won't be wrong on this. And then when you're making a statement about an investment, and again, I said to Terry, I'm a registered manager of money. I say you've got to be very careful what you say, because some people take it as advice, and that's not what we're trying to do. And what Tiru and I discussed earlier was you can throw someone a fish or you can teach someone to fish. Which one do you want to be? And I think Tiru would be in total agreement with me that we want to teach you to fish. Now, when you're in an area like gold or, what Tiru's looking at right now, you want to ensure that the people listening to you understand that you're teaching them to fish. Now, have you just taken a trade there, Tiru? That's the GBP USD, right?
That's right, yeah, because I saw some buying come back into the market. I'm just going to trade that on the 15-minute, just for a very small target of, and I'm going to push that out on the Telegram channel as well, traders. But I'll explain in a minute why we did that. But I just quickly took a look at the volume as well on it, as well. But carry on, Gavin.
No, I'm very interested in that. That looks like to me like a spring.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you're dead right. So, I'm looking at it on my other screen here, and I've got a green indicator saying, well, it's one of our new indicators that we're going to release next week. It's spring.
I've
Absolutely
just pushed
dead
that
on.
out on the Telegram channel, traders. I'm just going to put in the stops and everything. Just bear with me in terms of where our stops and everything will go. I'll give it a bit more room to move on this one. We got about, what is saying? It's yeah, so we don't need that. 16 times 1 point. We got that all calculated, and I tell you, this is the best thing when you marry up both the indicators. Sometimes I think people are yet to realize the power of what we are having and showing them here, really, to be honest, Gavin.
Can you just put, if you don't mind, put a smaller time frame up and just put the VSA indicator on it?
Yeah, I'm just going to do it on TradingView. I'm just going to put this stop loss in.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And if your screen actually works, you can take it off as I'm putting it here. Is it working?
It should be. Let me try.
Yeah, let me actually. Yeah, you can just take the screen off me and just share yours, and it will go off to yours.
Okay, so that's the 1 minute of gold, which is done exactly. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's showing it exactly. Go for it.
Yeah, look, and if we look up here, everything's
right
gone to the downside, and then and you're on the 6B, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to put that up.
9.8.
And we're going to put up. I'm going to put up a
3698.
5 minute chart. That should be okay. Right. Can everyone see that?
I think we should be able to. If you guys can put in the chat box, if you can see Gavin's screen, that will be awesome. Yeah, okay, yeah, great. Tom has just confirmed that. That's great. Thank you for that, Tom.
Okay, and let's just make sure that I'm on my live screen, which I am. Okay, so everything, this is the new software. So this is the pro version, and what we can see here is obviously buying and testing. But the most interesting part is the time frames. Okay, and there is a lot of buying, which I think Tira already identified. Now, Tira, what was your entry on this one? Because I'm not in this, I'm in gold at the moment.
Our entry was as it took out the high at 37.28.
Okay, so you're up 7 or 8 ticks already. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's where we have come in on that.
Okay.
37.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to make this clearer for people. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about accumulation and distribution, which is what Tom would, this is all about Tom. So what happens when a market gets accumulated? It happens on down moves. okay, which you can see over here. And Terry, can you just confirm you can see that bar?
Yeah, I think I can see that. Yes, yeah.
All right. And you can see that the trending system in the software is aligning on the daily, the 5, and these are timeframes that I've preset. Then it comes into that area here and here, and we see TE. What is a TE? Price bar. After the buying, it's a test of the market. Now, I'll go back to gold in a minute because I'm having a marvelous day on this one. But it does test, and Turu identified in SMI, which I've not got on this screen deliberately. I want to keep it so you can understand it, right? And then you've got alerts coming out, which they are coming out. So what I'm going to do, and then I'll hand back to Tiru, is I'm going to put up here the GC again. The reason I'm going to do it is because of what it's doing. 5-minute chart. Marked it out perfectly. This is what Tom Williams would have told you was professional selling. It is. Okay, and now you've got something called no demand, and this is going to. Oh, my wife Laura is waving at me and said, "Don't say it's going down the toilet." It is. don't say it. Watch.
It's a very high probability there.
It is.
A lot of things confluencing. I think that's the thing that people got to get away, the confluence.
If I'm looking at my SMI indicators on the other screen here, which I am, I'm just trying to keep it simple. We were focusing on Tom Williams. Watch what's about to happen. I won't be. She's waving at me saying, "Don't say you won't be wrong." When I was in court, and I was a detective, and I was interviewed by I said, I won't be wrong. I've got the evidence. This is your evidence. Okay, it works. And it sent me 3 emails during this seminar. Okay, it's got all the facts behind it. And it's got SMI backing it on the other screen here. It's got the professional selling on the ultra high volume bar. And then you've got no demand. So let me explain that, and then I'll hand back to Tiru as we talk about this falling price. First of all, we're doing this live. This is not a PowerPoint presentation, okay? And it's on YouTube. So we don't try to do things in hindsight and say, oh, well, that happened and that happened. No, that's one thing that makes us very different as educators. We do it live. The second thing is we're doing a live event in London in October. We are probably going to do an event in early July after the 4th of July, which is my son's birthday, funny enough. We'll show you this and trade it live, but this is live now. So what have we got? Now, this is a very important indicator, okay? And it's built into TradingView. So I'm using the TradingView platform, and I'm using the elite version of our software. Now, what happens when the market rallies on very high volume? This is what Tom taught me, and I didn't understand a word of it. I said, the market's going up, the volume's increasing, everyone's buying. Are they? Look at the volume. It's definitely the highest that we'd seen. It's gone up. And he told me that's sellers coming in. And I said, that's that can't be right. That's what most people think. Very difficult to get your head around. I'll admit that. I'll accept it, because as a former police officer, I would look at that and say, that's rubbish. But as we look at the chart, as you're about to see, Tiru and I both know how the markets work. So ask yourself a question. And when you ask it, you'll get the answer. If that was all buying on this big red signal, how could the next bar close lower? That is a new indicator that's coming in. Now watch what's going to happen at the right edge of the chart. I can't make this up, can I? You've got no demand here in this area. And you might say, well, there's a green signal here. There is, but it's not reacted to it. And the reason it hasn't is because the market's weak. And then all the SMI indicators behind it are backing it up. Now, I want you to see this live because then you'll know what I know and what Tiru knows. Now, you're seeing what we're seeing, which is a no demand bar after selling. You put the SMI indicator over the top of it, which I've got on the other screen here, it confirms it. So Tiru, I'm gonna come back to you. We've already seen quite a substantial down move in this instrument. I know you were looking at the pound, but this is where I'm making my money. Why is it that markets go up on this massive volume and then collapse? What's your thoughts?
Because it absolutely makes sense, right? Let me just take the
Take the screen. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I'll
stop share. There you go.
and just show it to the guys here. I think first thing, let's take it systematically, traders. Because why? Because the entire thing makes sense, price and volume, right? I always say price is like the gearbox in the car, volume is like the fuel in the car tank, okay? So over here, what we are really looking for, when they both marry up together, is where we exactly get the understanding and also the surge up or down, right? So let's go through this step by step. On gold over here, as it took out that range, it absolutely makes sense for all the volume over here supporting it to go to the downside. And there's a whole systematic way of looking at it. I don't really have much time to go through it today, but some reference videos I will give you guys to take a look at would be the stretch principle videos over here, okay, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/master the markets. Those of you who have subscribed already and those of you who haven't, you can click the subscribe button and click the all bell icon. This is when you know when we go live on YouTube, okay? So definitely watch this one here on the stretch principle videos. But the first step would be, I would say, watch 7 steps to ctp.com. Then go on to the stretch videos and combine that learning with the Trade Guider channel and all the lives that we have done, me and Gavin together. That will give you a very good idea of what we are looking to do over here. Usually over here, because we have a limited amount of time with you guys only, so that's why we sometimes have to rush through a few things. But there's a few very good ones over here that I just want to go through. You see over here, in terms of your strategy construction, right? So there's a couple of things. So let's take it systematically, okay? So the first thing is that after you got your strategy rules, coupled with a framework, the framework is what I just showed you over here. Then in your strategy construction, which we went into a large detail over Traders Basecamp over the weekend, where Anton was there as well and Bill was there as well, we looked at the 5 components that make a strategy. After you write all those rules inside those components, then you come back to here and you must have a very clear objective and a concept, okay? Those of you who have done on the Traders Basecamp package and the live webinar, you'll definitely know this by now. Over here, when I combine the stretch principle as well as the range of the bar, we can see that when the volume kicks in over here, and that's the biggest leading signal over there, right? Then you have to marry that up with the price action story, okay? So the first thing we usually do, as I was explaining before, is we take a look at it over the trend alignments. It's quite clear. It's towards a downtrend as of now, right? I'm looking to get a direction, and the 1 hour stretch is taken out the lower stretch over here, right over here. And I'll explain the same principles on the cable and why I took that, right? So over here, you can see that that's taken out the lower stretch over here as well. And then I am then looking at the latest range it took out. You see, the latest range it took out as well. If you look at this white line over here, it took out that range from there. Okay, this is what we call the range for the day. Okay, looking at the 15-minute time frame, right? So everything now aligns. And what that all tells me as I tick all that off is that the volume, when it came on this big confirmation bar here, as it came over here, I wouldn't know whether that's a shakeout bar towards the upside or towards the downside. At that point, I don't know. It's a question mark. But I got all of this circled out here and forming my story to see, my objective is to see how that bar on the daily is going to form this bar here, okay? Right? This is what builds the conviction for us. We marry all of this up together, right? After you got all of those points, as it ticks everything off, then I got a few more points over here, previous days high and low, and then looking at the ATR range. I'll come to that in a minute. After I've got all of that, that tells me the direction. So I form a direction bias. The direction bias then comes down to short, okay, as it took out that level there. And then after that, then I put my, get my timing, okay, where do I want to enter? And my stop loss, and then my target. Now, applying all of the same principles, okay, now how do I get my targets and everything? The good part is, and this is why we are doing so much work together, Trade Guider and us, is that over here, according to this framework, remember I told you that back in the 1960s and 70s, we put this whole framework together, my mentor's mentor, of the top and bottom confirmation. So once you get the bottom confirmed by the blue dot over here, right, then, but you don't jump into a long, same as the VSA principles, but then you marry that up with the whole picture, which I went through a little bit as an overview just now, right? As the reference points I gave you, 7 steps and stretch principle, okay, that will go in much more detail. After we've done all of that, right, then we then think about, okay, where to put my stop loss, where to put my target. And this is where the beauty comes, and this is what people love it. And they've invited us to talk at many, many different places like Ninja Trader, outreach of 1.5 million traders. Me and Gavin have spoken over there. Gavin, in fact, introduced me to those guys over there as well. And I've done so many presentations. The first one that we did, when I presented this material, which I'm going to show you right now, it just got 25,000 views just in 1 month. And similar amount of views by Gavin as well. And then we also got invited to the STA. Then I lectured their diploma students as well, you know, recently as well. So you can see that. Let me show you what we've got. And Traders Basecamp package guys who came on the live webinar will have seen all of this. But you can see that I can see what is the probability of it getting to 1 ATR, right? That's about 64% chance. That's how I get the conviction. When I get on the close of the bar, I can put a target for 1 ATR. You guys would have seen me do that on the Telegram channel as well as all on our live stream. Now, here's the best part, right? Now, not only can we see, now this is a very good one, and I know Gavin will like this one over here. There's a spring coming up there. You can see that the other thing that we can also see is that we can see the MAE number as well, okay? How much will it go against you? And Stuart usually calls it our Vedanta Elite client in US, and Gavin's client as well. He will easily call it the dance of the market, right? So over here, I can see that in terms of ATR level, if I place my stop loss whenever I get a confirmation bar, 1.5 ATR away from it, or the swing high, whichever is lower, in that example of a short, I won't get stopped out 95% of the time. This is how we trade with conviction. And this is exactly what we do here on the GBP USD trade, right? Why do I have the conviction as even when that tail of the bar comes in and it's going against me? And I know Tom also mentioned that as well. When I was talking to him on a one-to-one, he said, I was very surprised by seeing the kind of confidence that you guys have, even when it goes against you and you show all the unrealized losses as well. And you can go and see that on the numerous live streams that we have done, right? over here, you can go and check on all the live streams that we've done, how some trades will come even near to our stop and then go towards the target. Yesterday, when we were doing live stream, you saw the first position on cable was a loss, and then the second one we scaled up, and two of the positions actually hit the target. What gives us all the conviction? And even when something goes against you, the mark of a true professional is how we manage his risk, how we scaled out of that to reduce our risk as well. Then you see, also all that you can find it over there. And why have I put my target over here? I have seen that on this particular chart over here on cable, after I've aligned everything together, I'm going for the 1 ATR target. So the 1 ATR target is from the close of this bar plus a 40 pips. That's how I got my 37.40 over there. Okay. And another thing, what I do, I repeat the same process again. I can see on my daily, that's an uptrend. On my 4 hour, that's an uptrend, phase 1. 1 hour, it's an uptrend, phase 2 at the moment, right? But still an uptrend. And on the 15-minute, at the moment, it's just turned that with an uptrend, phase 1 as well, okay? So across all of this here, right? So this one, we got an uptrend phase 2, but we got uptrend phase 1 all over here. And the 1 hour stretch, right? So I can take a look at the 1 hour stretch. This is how we align everything together and we get the conviction, okay? So you can see over here, I'm just leaving that to run. I should have managed the position size a bit more better on that, but it's fine. So over here, then you can see that on the upper stretch, it's taken out the upper stretch over here as well. Some of you clients have totally understood this. Amazing. I know you guys have shown me your results, what you guys are doing. It's really, really good. Has it taken out its previous daily high and low? I go on to my daily time frame here, right? And I take a look. Yeah, definitely. It has taken out the daily high already from before. So everything is aligning, but here's the important point. Yeah, I'll tell you this in a minute. The ATR range, though, it has formed it, and I will finish off with this spot here. Then Gavin can add in. You see, over here, what I want to make you guys understand is, when I take a look at the ATR for yesterday, 94, right? Just say 100 even, yeah? 80% of that is 80. But today's bar range, if you look on the indicator on the right, it tells you that it's 98. So it's gone past its 80% ATR range. So it's fulfilled its range.
Yeah.
On my
Teru, just a quick question. Can you explain what ATR is? I know it's average trading range of the day. Some people don't understand it.
Yeah, it's a good point. Thanks for that, Gavin. So, you know, in terms of average true range, what we mean is that, just as his name suggests, I went through a bit more detail on Traders Basecamp as well, is that we take a look at the range. Range means the high and the low, you measure that, but I'm taking an average. Average over how many bars? In this case, we use usually 10. So on the daily time frame, so I look at 10 bars, right? I don't do it, the indicator will do that for you anyway. So then you count 10 bars from that, add them all up, add all the range, then divide by 10. And that is the number that is shown here on the data window here. So when I put my cursor on yesterday's bar, because it's formed fully, today's bar is not formed fully yet. If you take a look at yesterday's bar, then you can see that it's 94. That's the 94 is the average range, okay? But today's bar, you can see 80%, we usually go for 80% of that, give and take leeways and everything of some spikes, small compression bars and all of that. So it's definitely gone above 80 pips. You can see the bar range over here is 98 today. So that's calculating over there between the high and the low. If you look at the one on the right-hand side over here, that again was designed by one of our clients. That's when we know the community itself uplifts the community. The product is really strong and it's enhancing people's lives. So you can see that this one is 98, is gone above its ATR range over here, 80% of its ATR range. So based on my strategy 1 objective, I don't take a trade over there, all right? Based on capturing a range. But on my strategy 2 objective, I can take it towards the close. My objective is trading the close for the day. And what I'm saying is, in terms of trading the close on that daily bar, when I then marry up all of this together, my bias is towards the long, but where do I enter? I've got my direction, but how do I time myself to enter this trade is the question. So then that's when we look at the retracements over here, right? We look at the retracements and all of that, a little bit of accumulation here, big volume spike. And look at this. This is the important part which we are looking to convey to you guys. Look at that as the seller bars came against you, but it's testing that area. That's the whole idea. And if I take a look on the trading view, that'd be a bit more clearer because we got all the indicators on there. So you can see over here that, let me just increase that over here. Big volume spike, very obvious. And you can see that over here, look at that, right? It's coming back to test that area. This is what me and Gavin are looking to make you understand. After you align all the trends together, tick, 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 stretch also to the upside, previous daily high taken to the upside. Where do I enter based on strategy number 2? If the range has been formed, I take it towards, I'm trading the close. But now what I then do is I take on the 15-minute time frame. I'm seeing a clear signal over there on the close of the bar. And then what I do is I use my stats again and help me and towards placing my target. And on the OE perspective, I can see that even from a pip and from an ATR perspective, this table will tell me all of that. And this will tell me also on probabilities. Me and Gavin, we always talk about this. Trading is based on probabilities, traders, right? So that's how we need to think like a professional over here. So over here, it tells me that to get to 10 pips, it's about 60% chance on a phase 1 move, right? On the 50-minute time frame. But because I've put so many things together, I can take it a bit more further up the line, okay? That's what I would say, Gavin, how we marry up all the price and the volume and that test of the area and have that conviction to take that. And that's how I jumped onto it because I saw that it's tested it, come back up again, taken that high out. That's when we went in. If you can go and see the replay, you will see that. That's why I jumped in very quickly because I could recognize that. Gavin, over to you if you want to add anything onto that.
Yeah,
the last thing. I just remember, just 1 second, just the last thing I say, because I know I rushed through it quite a bit. Just pardon me on that, sorry, but 7steps to CTP.com, go and take a look at that. That will go through it much more slower in pace. And also the other thing is on the YouTube channel, the stretch principle as well. And please, please, please marry that up with Trade Guider's channel as well on the volume, and especially on Tom Williams' section there as well. I think these 3 things combined together and also with our indicators on there will definitely get you the best results. And if you guys want to take a look at SMI and VSA, I had it over here. You can take a look at this link over there and you can read up about it and get both those indicators onto your screens as well. Sorry, Gavin, over to you. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that for those.
No, good. No, excellent analysis. I think everything you've said there is correct. And I'm looking at gold right now, so that's what I trade quite a lot. You're obviously on the British pound, which is fine.
Because you know what it is, Gavin, principles, right? We're teaching principles. You can be applying any instrument. That's what I want people to understand. Very powerful principles we're teaching here. Price and volume, the test of the area. And we see that across any instrument, isn't it?
Everything. And that is the bit that if I was going back to the days with Tom Williams, he'd tell me this works in all markets, which it does. We've proved it. I mean, we've proved it today, but it's not the point. Some people just are so parked in their mind. They say, well, I only trade stocks. I only trade silver. I only trade Bitcoin. Let's look at 3 things here, which is what the whole principle of this webinar was about.
About a pip away, I think, Gavin.
Yeah, you're pretty close. Yeah, that's a good trade. Yeah. I think gold's doing the same thing.
Oops, that's it. Done. Hit target.
Yeah, there you go. You've hit it. Brilliant. Yeah.
And in real time and on the right side of the chart.
Perfect. Yeah. And so it should, because you're following the principles. And I'll take the screen in a minute on gold. I'll show you what's going on. But
See, here's a nice one that people can see as well, isn't it? Exactly. You see, the principles are the same. Look at this, right? Potential buying all the way, volume spikes over here. To get more conviction, come and see if it tests that area around this zone here. And you can take a small long on that, but be careful because all the trends on the higher time frames will be on the short side. So if you do want to take this long, you got to be careful to come as taking a small chunk of that swing. You must be very clear of your objectives. Sorry, Gavin. Yeah, I just wanted to add that.
No, you said it perfectly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. I've already made my profit on the trade. I think it. If okay, so people ask, they say, well, what would be the target? Okay, so I'll give you one. Where's it going to go? I can tell you, 3.10.000. That's where it's going. That and okay, and time frame wise, Steve's emailed me 12 to 24 hours. Can't tell exactly, but it's going there. Okay, it's going to push down to that level. Why? Because what happens is it will push higher first, which it should. It should go up first. You can't have a downward move when the market's moving higher, which it is. Okay, and what you've got to do is wait. Just be patient. The other piece of advice I would give you, so I've got a couple of your emails. I'll call you guys. That's fine.
I think Tom is asking, Gavin, there's a question. Do you want to take questions now, or you want to finish off?
Yeah, no. Let's take the questions now. I mean, this. I'm looking at gold right now, and it's it's right on the edge. It could be a really good trade. I mean, I've already done well on the downside, but now I think we're going to see an upthrust, and it's going to be very close. And it's going to come. So let me. You said to me today, Churu, people want to know what's your target. I can tell you. Okay, it's going to go to 3.3100.00. It's going to go there. Now, how can I know that? It's the back. Yeah, you've got, if you look at the bar that's about to form, all right, it's not there yet, but the one thing I do know is the potential buying in the background is not holding. So if you can point at the bar that's currently live, I think because you've got the screen. Yeah, point the bar that's live.
Yeah, let me. Is this one here forming at the moment? You mean this one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, now I'll give it 2 minutes. That my wife is telling me stop telling everyone that it's going down the toilet, but watch. You can either be right or wrong, but if you go to the right hand side of your screen where you've got the trade guide, a charting package, which is showing phase one and phase one. Yeah, that's it. What?
Yeah, that's on the trend box with the SMI. This is
absolutely 100%. Yeah, everything.
But as I say, traders, I think the main thing what they got to understand is, I think, hopefully they've got the message, Gavin, is that they got to see this area being tested if they do want to cut their short, cover their shorts, or buy it. So they got to wait. The timing is important. And not all the time you get the timing right, you can only do your best.
This whole message today is about Tom Williams. Now, what would he tell me here? This is his message to you all. If the market rushes down on high volume, closes on the low, and the next bar closes lower, which it hasn't done yet, it's going to fall. My wife Laura says, don't say that. You can't be right. But there's no such thing as right and wrong in this market, any market. Churu and I are very good traders. we trade what we see. If it looks right, we'll take the trade. If it doesn't look right, we'll wait. And then the final bit, which I hope we'll be able to teach you, is a trading plan, a plan. Now, I want you to watch very closely what's about to happen, because it will teach all of you what you need to know. And this is Tiru's screen. This is not my screen. Okay. Now, you've got a reversal bar. Now, the next bar closes lower. Now, this is, again, you don't know this. It's a wonderful thing, because you go, oh, I'm sure that's going to happen. I have no clue. And Tiru would say, I don't know. But if it does, you'll get and then my wife, Laura, is looking at me saying, say nothing. But I'm sorry, I will say something, because I've seen this happen many times. Not just in stocks. Yeah, that's a great question from Steve. I just got your text. Does this work for stocks? Yeah, it does. But we're currently looking at gold, and we're looking at the spot. Just to be clear, we're not looking at the futures contract.
Gavin, there's a question come up at the moment. It says, where did you see the top and why? Tom, which instrument are you talking about here? Is it the gold?
Yeah, gold.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the gold, I think, highly probably, because on
100%.
Yes,
and go to the daily chart. But watch the live chart now. Don't look at, watch what's happening. Look at the right edge of the chart. Okay, look at the phase one. Okay, and then we'll see if it breaks. And then
yeah, but I think he's asking for the initial part where you took the
I went short yesterday, but it's now quite interesting, because what has to happen here, this is really important. I'm glad we're doing this, and I don't want to extend this too much, but the next two bars on the 15-minute chart are absolutely key. You can see the yellow lines, right? Everyone can see that there's two lines. Watch, because if I've got this right, they'll break. And then, you know, we're doing this. We're not doing this in hindsight. We're doing it live. If it does it, but of course, the wonderful thing that Turu said, yeah, look, you've got a lot of this completely on. There's an upthrust. There's the SMI indicators in the background. Yeah, you've got it.
yeah.
Do you know, this is the wonderful thing, Tiru, about doing these events. I gave myself 45 minutes, and then I was going to go off and go on the
I think,
golf
you know
course.
what, they've got to put the parts of the puzzle together. You know, sometimes I think, Gavin, you've got this as well. People just think just about that one thing is going to make the difference, isn't it? Just go and buy it at a potential buying bar, or sell it on an uptrust. That's not how it works, right? You got to put the whole background of it, the strategy of it, the trading plan together, and then put all the confluence of factors. That's when you take it. Now, in answer to Tom's question about the top and why, Tom, I just want to make you understand that nobody in the whole world is going to catch the exact top. Okay, it's not going to happen all the time. But when we do capture the tops, there are signs that it's going to become the end of a rising market, and a turn of trend is going to happen. And when we get there, the direction bias is formed, but then we still need to time ourselves. And the timing usually happens when it starts to compress, or a structural failure of a particular technical level gets taken out. And in this case, you can see quite a few ones over here. And what we also take a look at, what Gavin and I are looking to tell you guys is, if you think that that's going to become the top, circle that area around there and see when it retraces back to there, does it test it and fall further down? One place is here, right? When that confirmation happened on the SMI, then you can start to take it on the downside. There are different ways to enter, and then you can then also back it up with volume. And that's when the whole thing becomes a bit more stronger and we can trade it with conviction. Again, you see the same example here. All the trend is all correlating. The bottom came here on the GBP/USD or on the futures. It's all the same principles here, right? The volume, very clear, right? SMI picked it up, but that's not where we jump in to enter. Remember that this is not just a signal providing indicators, right? It's a framework from which you can make really good decisions from, high probability trades from. After that, here is the point, you see, where it comes to test that area and then springs up again. That's where you get the conviction and you come in, right? And you capture that bottom there, and then you trade it to the level that you want to. In here, we just got it to based on stats and backing. This is the best spot you got here because you got both of the best roles here. You got the volume and the price and backed up with stats. That's how our reliability, one of our clients went to go and check our Telegram channel and look at all the trades that we've given out. It's about over 70% reliability. I've got one client as well who showed me his Excel spreadsheet and everything and said, Tiro, you know what, this is marvelous. When I put the stats together and everything with the volume, it's like I'm getting about 84% reliability, and he's doing it on 1 minute, 3 minute, and 5 minute time frame. That's a German client of ours, right? So many people have done it over different instruments using this principle. So it's very powerful, and that's why we don't really mind whatever instrument we trade this on, because it works across any other instrument. I'm just taking a look at time, traders. I know we've shot off a bit. Just the final things what I want to say. Those of you who want to ask us any in-depth questions or anything, you know what? You can always book a session in over here on the Calendly link over here, or also email us. Email Laura. I think the team can put the email addresses in, or also you can email clientservice@masterthemarkets.net. The final thing I also want to mention is that if you want to meet us in person, just in case you're ever having this doubt that we are AI constructs, me and Gavin over here, you want to see us in real flesh and blood, you can come and see us in person in London, okay? We moved the dates a little bit. I know it was in July, but now we moved it to 10th and 11th October, because quite a lot of you are saying it's short notice, flights, booking and all that. So that's totally fine. We've got small limited number of in-person tickets. Once they are gone, then that's it. We'll fill up the in-person tickets. It'll be good to see you guys in person. And then we might then open up the online places as well. If you want online tickets, if you know that you can't make it over in October, then do email us that. But those of you who want to meet in person, it'd be good. It'd be good to meet in person, I think, once a year at least. I think it'd be really, really good, where we can share all the different strategy research updates that we are doing, both on price and volume, and we can interact a bit more. But the first day there will be dinner included. Both days there'll be lunch. First evening there will be a dinner as well. All that you can read through this thing on why it was created, what we'll go through, and all the agenda and the game plan all here, and the bonuses, everything. So do look through that. That'll be great to see you guys. It'll be a nice intimate setting, and we should definitely go for this for once a year. I think, Gavin, I think we've covered most of it. I think over the 1 hour.
Yeah, I think we have. I just want to go and cover the gold trade if I can.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, there you go. Nice testing there.
It's lovely. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, sometimes things work and sometimes things don't. But there we go. Okay, I'm going to put my screen on. Okay, so okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, now I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So what do we see? So what we see is exactly what I thought we would see. Selling, reversal, no demand, and a clear fall in price. Now we can go to a small time frame. We can go to a 1 minute chart. Doesn't really
Nice
matter.
test over there, isn't it, as well, Gavin?
Well, what you can see here is what you and I teach. All right. So if you I'm looking at this, and I've been looking at it for the last 2 hours because I'm still short. And you go, what's going on? Well, what's going on is a markup. So I think what this whole seminar is about Tom Williams. That's what we said. So let me read from, and I'll probably play you some of his videos, but let me just quickly, because we're running out of time, talk about distribution and accumulation.
You know, guys, as Gavin is going to read out that, if you guys got any pressing questions, you can raise your hand and we can unmute you later on. Yeah, carry on, Gavin.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. So I want to talk to you, first of all, about accumulation. And I want to talk to you about Tom Williams.
Returning visitor.
And I've got his videos coming in. So I want you to listen very carefully. When Tom Williams was alive, he was just like Hank Pruden, Professor Hank Pruden, and the late David Weiss. He was a teacher. Now, I've taken on a responsibility to carry on that work. And you can probably tell that it's played a toll on me, because you've got to take, you're going to teach people, you've got to know what you're doing. So here's the lesson I learned. Number one, accumulation. We're talking about the stock market, not think, link, create, which is something different. So the stock market, what is it? What does it do? Well, it's misleading. There are times when you want to be able to look at that market and go, oh, okay, I totally understand it. There's a big war in Israel. There's a big war in Ukraine. Market's going to collapse. And that didn't happen. Markets are going up. Number one. Lesson number two, believe in yourself. Do not, under any circumstances, believe in what everyone's telling you that says, oh, that's terrible. That's going to be terrible. That, do not do it. It won't work. I know. Being a former police officer, I've seen it. Number three, understand the charts. That's really straightforward. You go, I'm looking at charts. I'm not looking at all the information that's bombarding me, telling me the world is a terrible place. It's not. So you listen to that information. It's really important, because what it does is it opens your mind. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Your mind is a parachute, best used when open. So if it says, I tell you what, I think things are quite good, they are. And when you look at charts, what do you need to look for? That's a great question from Steve from Oregon. And I tell you what, that's a great question. I need to find the secrets in the charts. And I said to him, which I'll say to you, you look for the clues in the volume, which is very important. The smart money indicator, very important. And you listen to your own mind and say, well, if I'm being told that Tesla's going down the toilet, And it's, well, this video will prove it. Don't take any notice of it because it's probably, my wife's looking at me saying, don't say it, but it's very true. With that being said, is there any more questions? Because I'm happy to take them, but the ultimate message here, I hope you'll take it in good faith, is be positive. There's a lot of negative energy out there at the moment, and you know, why are they bombing that? Why are they doing that? But when you look at the markets, they're going up, and they are, and you go, why? Surely that's wrong. But no, definitely not. It's exactly how the markets work. They reflect how human beings work, and they're very good at doing it. And all I would say, and I'm sure Tira would agree with this, is stay positive, stay happy. And as Steve Jobs said, I mentioned in his book, you can't connect the dots going backwards, but you can connect them going forwards. And I think I've done it. So to all of you, I wish you the best. Turu, back over to you.
Great. I guess traders, we will wrap up over here for the time being. Just some finishing off notes. I think I'll just share my quick screen. Those of you who want to revisit this material, I would say first step is to go to 7stepstoctctp.com. Once you put your contact details, hit the green button. After you click I'm not a robot. After that, you get the 7 videos sent to your inbox. You can watch at your own free time over there. And then after that, you can then also look at the SMI and VSA. Those of you who watched all of that, want to get both the indicators onto your screens, you can go there and watch it, read through it, and get the indicators both on your screens. And then the other thing is on the YouTube channel as well, some great material. After you hit the subscribe button, hit the all bell icon, get notifications when they're going live, and go through the stretch principle videos, okay? There's some great learning on the live section as well. So those of you who want to go and revisit the live videos that we are doing, both on our channels, you can then go and click on them and go through the principles over there and apply it to your own strategy. Same thing on Trade Guider channel. Under the live section, you can see all the trades that we've taken. There was one that we did with Paul Godfrey as well, where he was here in person with us from Australia. And then we took a trade over there, where Brent would hit all 3 targets as well. And then me and Gavin and Paul, we were all there in person at that point. You can check it there. It will be here somewhere. You can take a look where we got that one. I think I remember where it was on ours. I think that was here. I think it will say Brent hit all 3 targets. I think that's that one there. Can I find it here? But I guess you guys can find it at your own time. Brent did not trigger this one. Maybe it was a bit. There we go. This is the one there. Brent hit all 3 targets. You can watch that one. That's a really good one where again price and volume will match up together. I want to say a quick shout out to Trade Nation as well. Thanks to them, we got the Telegram channel where it's pushing out all the trades and everything for those of you who are learning from that as well. Remember always that we are teaching all this from an educational perspective, just to put the disclaimers in on that. And then, of course, on the ETM Summit, you can take a look at that as well if you want to book your tickets. And the final thing, if you've got any in-depth questions, then book a session with us on our calendar. You got all the links there as well. Okay, traders, I guess that's pretty much that from us on this session. Great seeing you all. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.
Amen.